Yeah, I mean, it's very up to date. People will notice news clips and things in this documentary that may only be a week or two old simply because, you know, as we were finishing up the documentary, there were several things that broke. The Hal Turner story, for instance, where we were lucky enough to be able to get that in there so that we could show people that the COINTEL operations from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s never really ended. They were just continued under different names. And, you know, the Glenn Beck segment, you know, I don't know if you really got a chance to see that or not, but I don't think it was in the first edit that we sent you. But the Glenn Beck segment turned out to be just absolutely hilarious. I mean, it is funny to watch, which is the reason why we had to actually stick it after the credits. So people who get the film and you don't see Glenn Beck in there, you have to wait till the credits finish and then the Glenn Beck segment begins. And we did that mainly because it just totally broke the mood. It just totally broke the spell that we were trying to set for everybody because you're literally laughing on the floor when you see
No, but that's smart because it's a serious film with all the proof, with congressmen admitting it, with all the documents, all their own admissions, people saying camps are good, not just people exposing camps, and then you cut to Beck lying and saying none of it exists.
Exactly. So
William Lewis, amazing job. I want to talk about how the film starts, the Japanese, what happened to them. I want to open the phones up, too. We're going to take the calls that have been holding and new callers on this subject at 1-800-259-9231. Stay with us. It's Camp FEMA with William Lewis, the director. The maker of Camp FEMA, William Lewis, is our guest. Now, I know we have anti-federalists, Andrew, Pat, Wayne, Vincent, and others holding. You'll be all over the map, but William Lewis is anti-globalist, anti-New World Order. He researches this stuff, so he can talk about any subject. But you might, while you're at it, want to ask him. I mean, they went to the real FEMA centers. They went and showed the fake FEMA centers. They put a lot of work into this. William can answer a lot of questions, his perspective on camps. You can ask me my perspective. I think I'm probably one of the top experts out there. I've in-depth studied this for a long time. I could even predict how Beck was going to whitewash. So we're fully aware of how these guys operate. But we're going to take some calls right now and then get more into the film with William Lewis coming up. Anti-Federalist from Georgia. You're on the air with our guest, William Lewis. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. I have a few comments. Unfortunately, nothing specifically FEMA, but I just wanted to throw them out there real quick. The first thing is a great documentary about what's going wrong with the one-child policy in China, and it's called China's Stolen Babies. Also, tonight, I wanted the viewers and the listeners to know there's a special on 9/11 conspiracies on National Geographic at 9. So
let me just add to that, in fact, I had that in my stack, and I took it home. Will you get Jason, because he knows where it is? National Geographic has apologized about their previous film 4 years ago about why the towers collapsed. Similar to the Nova special. I think theirs is called Why the Buildings Collapsed, Nova's Why the Towers Collapsed, using fake data about bad steel and fire melting it. They've now changed their story with a new whitewash they're going to unveil tonight, but they've been forced to apologize. But I still have these idiots telling me why the towers collapsed and using their baloney. But go ahead.
No, I'm sure it'll be very interesting to see what they have to say. Also, I just got back from D.C. last week. And, of course, there was a lot of things I could say about my trip, but I did come back with some kind of flu, and I'm happy to say I'm over it. And there are swastikas all over the Federal Reserve Building, all around the, I don't know what you would call it, but the friezes, the stone carvings that outline the building. There's lots of symbols all over there, but swastikas I did find and took some pictures of it. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thanks for your time.
You mean not swastikas put up by citizens, but in the carving, the swastikas?
Absolutely. In the
carving. Oh, yeah. I mean, until 1940, American school children did the Hitler salute. You can Google American school children do Hitler salute at all major high schools. You can show you L.A. high school doing it. And they put the fasci, the symbol of fascism, the bundle of sticks with the hatchet heads in the U.S. Senate. And we were going to go that way with eugenics and everything else. I appreciate your call. William Lewis, comments on that?
Well, just as we didn't go that way, they just figured out a better way to disguise it. And that's all I'll add to that.
Good point. Andrew in Canada, you're on the air with the maker of Camp FEMA.
Hi, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I've been listening for just over a year now, and I'd like to thank you for waking me up, first of all. In Canada, it's funny, actually, because Canadians are always apologizing for everything, and I've gotten to the point where I just say, apology accepted, when they're always apologizing. But I'd like to apologize to everyone out there for not waking up sooner. It's a very traumatic experience to wake up, and I think that should be discussed more, especially, I mean, you know, it's literally like your world is turned upside down, and I'm through it now, and I get it. You were calling earlier, you were saying, oh, who out there, you know, can see the whole thing? I can see this, you know, big machine of eugenics, which, you know, it requires humans. The humans are the gears and the cogs of this big machine, and they can't go forward with any of this unless people, you know, willingly are part of it. And I guess,
and they're racing to put it in place right now because they know their time is short. They know the people are waking up exponentially. But when you really face the horror, you're like, how could I not have been involved? And I had an epiphany a few days ago, and I'm going to hold you over if need be, caller, because I want you to continue to make your point, Andrew, but I want to add this now. I had an epiphany. The elites at the very top are fully conscious. They know the master plan. They know what they're doing. But most of their minions, I mean, even senators and people, are compartmentalized and are picked by the system because they'll go along and rationalize and even believe a lot of their own propaganda. And that's the thing, is that it's not just that the good people aren't awake, bad people aren't awake, selfish people aren't awake to just what this world they're creating is. And so all this denial, all this rationalization, all this denying what's going on is destroying human society and our liberties and freedoms. I want to get William Lewis's comment on that statement, then go back to Andrew. When we come back, then Wayne, Vincent, Sam, Virgil, and others. We're talking about FEMA camps for the rest of the show.